Buddy, what the fuck is going on in Canada right now? It is so expensive to live here. What is happening?
And when we're just dumping our shit for we can get rid of 2025.
Yeah.
That's what's going on here.
Canada has never truly been allowed to fully develop as an independent nation.
Not one person was willing to give him a chance.
Mark Carney has talked about protecting Canadian values, and I couldn't agree with him more. Canadian values are taking care of our nation's veterans.
The system has completely collapsed. There's no more confidence in the system anymore.
Welcome back to Canadian Rant. If you're new here, this is where we talk about the real pressure crushing everyday Canadians. And today, we're talking about something millions of people are feeling, but not enough people are saying out loud. This is what financial stress actually looks like in Canada right now. It's not laziness, it's not bad decisions, it's not people not working hard enough. People are exhausted. They did everything they were told to do. Go to school, get a job, work full-time, be responsible, pay your taxes, and somehow, it's still not enough. Rent keeps climbing, groceries keep rising, gas, insurance, utilities, everything goes up, except the paycheck. This isn't about wanting luxury, it's about wanting breathing room. It's about not feeling panic every time a bill notification pops up. If you're feeling burned out, stretched thin, constantly doing math in your head just to survive, you're not alone. And that's what we're talking about today. Because surviving is not the same as living. Let's get into it.
It's all about the economy, the economy, the economy. If the economy doesn't work, nothing else works.
You can't feed the hungry and you can't look after the fragile, the handicapped. We need to ensure that we have a strong economy to take care of all Canadians.
Buddy, what the fuck is going on in Canada right now? It is so expensive to live here. What is happening? If I'm in Toronto, and if you want like a good apartment, like in the city, like not like just good apartment, it's fucking $3,000. Who has solutions for this? Instead, I hear a lot of wah goo goo gaga crying, but who's got the solutions other than just leaving the country, which it's fucking seeming like the only option. And groceries, dude, the fucking chicken bacon ranch from Subway used to be 14 bones. Now it's 18. Plus tip. Plus tip. Who the fuck do you think I am? Plus tip. And you don't even get no soda, no cookies, no double chicken with that? Fuck's sakes, buddy. Shit's fucked. And I mean, you fucking, everyone's like, well, move to the States. How? The visas are so, I have a podcast. They don't need me. People are like, oh, immigration's crazy. We're letting too many people in. Can you sneak one more in, fellas? Fuck.
Hey there, my name's Mike. I'm 32 years old, born and raised in Ottawa, Ontario. Like a lot of Canadians, I'm tired of being told what our nation can't do. We can't build, we can't compete, we can't produce our own boats, planes, trains, cars, televisions. We're told we can't move forward without relying on someone else. That's not true. Canada has never truly been allowed to fully develop as an independent nation on its own terms. We've been managed, divided, and trapped in this endless left versus right paradigm while our country enters into managed decline. This isn't about ideology anymore. It's about capacity. We have the land, we have the resources, and we have the people. And there is a way forward, there is a plan. It's about rebuilding our national strength step by step, producing what we need, training our own people, and making decisions in Canada's long-term interests. I'm tired of Canada can't. Canada can. Canada can build. We can stand on our own feet. We can produce our own boats, planes, trains, televisions, and we can become one of the strongest nations on earth. If you believe Canada is capable of more, follow this page, stay engaged, and be part of building something better. This is just the beginning.
$110 million. That's how much the Canadian government has pledged to the Ukraine since 2022 for winter gear for the soldiers. $110 million while we have people living on the streets in one of the coldest countries on earth. Makes sense. What could we have done with $110 million here? How many people living on the streets could have been given winter jackets, winter boots, sleeping bags, and other winter gear? I don't know. Countless. $110 million to help people in another country without helping our own. Disgraceful.
You know, working in the financial industry, I'm pretty close to how hard things are for Canadians right now. But being at the grocery store makes it really obvious. This section at the store, steaks, stops here. It used to come all the way to here. And I've watched people over the last few months stop at this cooler and constantly put stuff back. If you're one of those people that holds your breath before the cashier tells you what your total's going to be, go check out my bio. Let's have a chat. Let's see if we can free up some cash flow for you. Make you breathe a little easier and get you set up for the future.
Has anyone else noticed in Canada that, like, people don't know how to do their job? No matter what I am doing, if I am in a business or an organization, from a bank to a coffee shop, from a fucking doctor's office to the nail salon, I'm a bit like, how did this person get a job? At some point. And I get it, I've been in jobs where I've not known what the fuck I'm doing. But Canada is not really, like, functioning that well, it seems. And I'm like, why is that? And it's because people don't know how to do their fucking job. And this is not an immigration thing, so don't come up here and, like, say that it is, because I don't think it is necessarily. I think it's that just, like, people are kind of dumb. Like, myself included. There's a fucking job market crisis. People can't get jobs. And then the people that have jobs are dumb. Again, myself included. But, like, there are people working in doctor's offices who can't form complete sentences.
So Mark Carney and the Liberal government are admitting that with the high cost of living, 25% of Canadians are struggling to feed themselves. They'd like you to believe that they're lowering costs, but they're actually doing the opposite. Their decision is to print more money, borrow more money, create more inflation, and raise the cost of groceries. And it's funny how the Liberal government is blaming this on the Conservatives. Who's been running this country for the last 10 years?
All right, guys, thanks for the emails, messages. So here in BC, British Columbia, there was a mass shooting in Tumbler Ridge, British Columbia. And a lot of people are emailing me, asking me for my feedback on it. And it's very simple. It's what we've been warning you guys about. The system has completely collapsed. There's no more confidence in the system anymore. It's been happening for the last 2-3 decades already. There is no confidence in the system. No accountability is being taken at all. The blame game is complete finger pointing in a circle, blaming one another. And there's, again, no accountability. The system has collapsed. The system has failed everybody. And it's going to get worse. Because more and more people are struggling to put food on the table. More and more people. We warned you back in 2012. By 2020, people will be bought out of food. And a lot of people laughed at me. Oh, they'll never let that happen in a G7 nation. Well, here we are, folks. Where people, food bank lineups go around the block. The cost of operating a basic lifestyle. And we're talking about, like, a very basic lifestyle. We're not talking about going over the hill with good fancy stuff. We're just talking about 3 squares a day. We're talking about fuel for your car so you can get to work, to a job that you got to make payments on the car for. That the whole system has collapsed, folks. And then the healthcare, or the small emergency ward there in Tumbler Ridge is small, and it couldn't accommodate that. But yet Canada has money to send to Ukraine and all these other places to fight these. Well, that was money laundering. We cover that too in Ukraine. But it's all corruption. Top to bottom, left to right. No confidence in anything. It's all falling apart. And the people in the middle are severely being sanctioned. We are being sanctioned. Us, the humans, the people that keep the backbone of this society, the mom and pops businesses, the private citizens are being sanctioned through taxation, through cost of living, through we're being punished. Especially the European expansion that came and built this country. The European expansion that brought over the sanitation. The European expansion that basically brought in the Christian values so that we love one another and be nice to one another, or you know what I'm trying to say? The whole economic, the whole political, the whole banking, the whole finance system corrupt, top to bottom, left to right. Anyways, there's no confidence in anything anymore. Learn to love one another, guys, because we're gonna need it soon. Mike Martin's here. I have spoken.
Mark Carney has talked about protecting Canadian values, and I couldn't agree with him more. Canadian values are taking care of our nation's veterans. Canadian values are protecting and enhancing our healthcare system. Canadian values are making sure that every single Canadian has a roof over their head at night, and sadly, Carney cuts are hurting all of those fundamental Canadian values. The cuts to veteran services, the cuts to public health care, the cuts of affordable housing are going to have a negative impact on Canadians. So stop the Carney cuts. If we believe in protecting Canadian values, let's fully fund our public services, fully fund our public health care. Let's ensure that every Canadian is properly served by our government.
A man walked up to me in the parking lot and literally begged me for the tent in my trunk. And I'm sorry, I don't want to hear some bullshit like he got it so he can sell it while you're typing this from your cell phone in your home or in your car or wherever else you're warm. This is a young Canadian man who's just starting out, like I mean young, like 18, 19 years old, just starting out, doesn't have a support system, and immediately found himself on the streets because despite giving hundreds of applications to the areas in this, to this area here, to different jobs, he couldn't find a single one. Not one person was willing to give him a chance. I'm like shaking right now because this thing, like this makes me so upset. It makes me so upset that there are people out there getting second, third, fourth jobs just to be able to support their families because their car insurance is going up, their rent is going up, food becomes more expensive, transit becomes more expensive, and we are not getting pay increases. Like guys, one stick of deodorant is almost an hour worked for a minimum wage employee. Think about that for a second. Like in Halifax area, there are very few apartments worthy of living in that cost less than $2,000 a month. This is why people are getting second, third, fourth jobs just to support themselves. They're stressed out, they are burned out, and honestly, they are running on literal fumes. And it's just barely getting them by, if it even is getting them by. Now, I recognize this. There was no way I was going to be able to pay my debt in any considerable amount of time. There just wasn't. There wasn't. There was no way my family was going to be able to get the second car or to go on a trip or to buy the house. Like there just was no way. I needed to find a way, an alternative way to make money, and I found it. I invested in a system that is designed to teach me how to make money online. There's 26 different ways to make money on the internet that is taught in this particular program, and I am doing three of them presently. And no, it's got nothing to do with the creator fund. No, it's got nothing to do with pay views, like being paid for views on TikTok. And it's got nothing to do with TikTok Shop. But I'm still using TikTok as a marketing platform, and it's teaching me how. And if you are sick and tired of living in a way where you are chronically under stress and chronically burned out, let me know, because this is changing Canadians' lives every single day. And I am so passionate about sharing this with people because we don't deserve to live like this. We deserve to live the life of our dreams because life is painfully short. It is painfully short. And there's only one of them.
And when we're just dumping our shit for we can get rid of 2025. Yeah. That's what's going on here. Yeah. For 21, 26, I demand that Canada does better. I demand that the citizens of Canada do better. Like we be nice to each other. Let's
absolutely.
Like, do you know what I mean? Let's open up. If you got a buddy at home and he's going through a hard time and you notice he changed a little bit, simply ask him how he is. Yep. Next time you guys are putting around the garage, just be like, you all right, bro?
Yeah.
Just try it.
Yeah.
You'll be shocked.
You're going to be okay. No. Listen to me. You're going to be okay. I know your mind is loud. I know your chest feels tight. And I know your thoughts won't sit still. But this moment won't break you.
You're tired, not weak.
Video about Canada and how its economic outlook is just terrible, and people had a lot to say. They didn't like that I said that, but I stand by it. The stats are stats. The last time the US dollar and the Canadian dollar were the same was back in 2007 to 2012. That's when Canada was booming. That's when businesses were coming to Canada to establish it as it's their home ground, right? And that's when the economy was booming. Since then, we have experienced nothing but rental issues, household costs rising, grocery costs rising. People need to make $78,000 just to live and just to exist in Canada. And the median income is literally $68,000. That's insane. The numbers don't lie. What is the way out of this? Honestly, the only thing that's helped me has been starting my own business, trying to monetize my digital skills, working multiple jobs to really hit that 7-figure number. It helped me buy the watch of my dreams, helped me buy all the cars that I want, right? And that is e-commerce. Like nothing else could help me out. And many other people older than me and younger than me are understanding this trend, at least in Canada, and they're trying their hardest to get into e-commerce, some digital skill, and try to make money online. It is the only way out that I see, and it's insane how we have to go through this, work all these jobs just to, feed our families and just to help out around the house, which is insane. So if you guys are interested, we have free modules, a free community. Link is in the bio. Check it out. Free modules on how to get started. And that's what we want. We just want to give back and let you guys know of all the things that helped us and helped us reach financial freedom.
Global News recently released an investigation showing that thousands of Canadians who applied for vaccine injury support are still waiting, years later, with no care, no compensation, and no accountability. This needs to be said without any sugarcoating. Canadians were not simply encouraged to get vaccinated. They were coerced. They were mandated. It was not a free, voluntary medical decision. It was comply or lose your job, die or lose your mobility, apply or be shut out of society. That is coercion, and the government knows exactly what that word means. At the same time, government talking points were echoed relentlessly by the legacy media, creating an environment where non-compliance wasn't just discouraged, it was demonized. People who questioned policy were labeled dangerous. Hesitant Canadians were treated as moral failures, ostracized by their communities, their friends, their families. Fear and shame were used to enforce compliance. It was division by design. Canadians were pitted against each other, while officials repeated with absolute certainty, safe and effective, and dismissed anyone who reported harm. Now, years later, we're told to be patient while injured people wait in limbo after being pressured into compliance for the so-called collective good. You don't get to coerce a population, inflame public hostility towards dissent, and then abandon people who are harmed. That's not public health. That's institutional failure. This isn't anti-science. This is anti-coercion, anti-gaslighting, anti-abuse of power. And Canadians are right to scrutinize a government that demanded trust, enforced compliance, and now can't show up when accountability is required. History doesn't forget this, and neither do the people who are still waiting for help. They won't be able to memory hold this one.
Here's the reality. Financial stress doesn't always look dramatic. It looks like someone staring at their banking app before buying groceries. It looks like couples arguing over small expenses because there's no margin left. It looks like people working overtime not to get ahead much, but just to stay afloat. It looks like burnout, and what makes it worse is the narrative. The subtle message that if you're struggling, you must have made bad choices. But look around. Nurses are struggling. Trades workers are struggling. Office professionals are struggling. Small business owners are struggling. These aren't lazy people. These are the people holding the country together. And yet more and more Canadians feel like they're running on a treadmill that keeps speeding up. 2 incomes were supposed to mean stability. Now for many households, 2 incomes means survival. That shift is not small. That's cultural. When basic needs, housing, food, transportation, start consuming most of a full-time income, people don't just feel stressed, they feel trapped. And long-term stress changes people. It drains creativity. It kills optimism. It replaces hope with anxiety. We're not asking for luxury cars or mansions. We're asking for stability, for breathing room, for the ability to work hard and actually feel progress. No one should need 2, 3, or 4 jobs just to survive in one of the wealthiest countries in the world. Wanting that isn't entitlement. It's fairness. And if you're watching this thinking, this is exactly how I feel, understand something. You're not failing. You're responding to pressure. And millions of Canadians are feeling it too. The conversation isn't about blame. It's about solutions, wages that reflect reality, support systems that actually support, policies that understand everyday life. Because Canadians don't want handouts. They want opportunity. They want effort to mean something again. We deserve better than just surviving. Canada deserves better. If this resonates with you, share your experience in the comments. Let's have the real conversation. And if you want honest discussions about what's happening to everyday Canadians, subscribe, because silence doesn't fix pressure. But conversations might start something.